Um, I had maladaptive uh, daydreaming pretty much my entire life until I was 28. And what it is to me is there's almost like a live action movie playing in your head. And um, it's like a whole movie playing in your head, but your entire, like, a lot of your nervous system seems to be playing along with it too. Um, you like really get invested into it, and sometimes your own body moves around, or you'll start talking out loud almost to it because you're so in it. Like you're so in it. It's like it's incredibly realistic. And some of my earliest memories of those were um, I was probably like 5 or 6, and when I would go to sleep, like, I mean, besides like playing dolls and like imagining them being people, or like whatever I was playing with and imagining that being like a person, um, uh, when I would go to sleep, I would have this like scrolling thing show up in my head, and like it would scroll past like the different dreams that I wanted to have, and it was almost like in a video game where you would pick like Super Smash Brothers, where you would pick like where you wanted the battle to be, kind of, but like it would be the entire dream. So it would scroll past all these options for what I wanted to think about before I actually went to sleep. And one of them was like I was like 5 or 6 or something, so it was like pretending to be a cheetah. One of the options was, do you want to like kind of like super in-depth daydream about being like a cheetah? And so that's one that I would occasionally pick, and that's what would happen. We call it our imagination. um, and I think my entire life I thought I was made to think that it was me thinking all of these things up, and them just being that me. Hey, um what what um and so I was always thinking that like it was me, and like picking this out, and me choosing to think about these things. And um I went everywhere. I like it's so strange because in uh, a lot of these daydreamings, I would have like a job. A lot of them, like some of them were romantic, but a lot of them I would have like a job, and it would go into almost like detail. Like I was reading a book, and some themes would stay the same for like a decade and they wouldn't change. And then all of a sudden, I would randomly decide after all of that time that I wanted to think about something else. And so a different thing would show up, a different, like, um, scenario, sort of. And I remember reading books, and as I would be reading books, I read a lot of like supernatural books and fantasy books growing up, and I remember as I would be reading them, I would see them um, in my head, and it would be like playing like a projector. And I remember it got to the point where every paragraph or two I would have to stop reading because um, my brain would start playing that scenario in my head, and sometimes it would change into something else. And let's see, So I would have all of this going on, and it got to the point where, like, the daydreaming was better than, like, real life. It was better than it was. It's both real life, but it was better than the real life where you, like, go outside and you, like, talk to people and stuff, because I was having so many random negative interactions with people, or a lot of the time my brain would make me almost annoyed if someone, like, interrupted these maladaptive daydreamings, these, like, movies playing in my head. They were just, like, so incredible and amazing, and up until like, almost recently, I thought that they had been me thinking these things up. So for years and years, just all these movies playing in my head, not wanting to be around people because those interactions were negative. I would be in my head. And gosh, there's so much to say about this because it took up so much of my life. But anyway, my theory behind the daydreaming is that it was building up to the point of, okay, so I'm going to go through a couple. So it was building up to the point of me becoming a targeted individual, because all those years, to me, it was someone else doing it. Like, it was someone else putting these ideas in and having these images going to build up certain neural pathways in my brain, so that when I was no longer having these videos playing in my mind, I would be able, like, they would be able to pull the strings and make me have the feelings, like the terror or the happiness or the sadness that I felt in my daydreams. And those neural pathways had been so constantly used that they were now, whatever the powers that be were now able to, they had changed the structure of my brain kind of in a way that could be used, so that now I don't have to zone out anymore and see these videos for them to have me feel these feelings. So that's one thing. On the other hand, I don't think they had to do it to make me feel these feelings. Things could have happened in regular life, outside of my internal world, that could, like, almost PTSD, when someone is made to revisit a situation and have triggers in their mind. So, and there were things like that, like, all of those negative experiences. I had positive experiences with people, but I seem to have been made to be most affected by my negative ones. And so I noticed a lot of targeted individuals that are people experiencing the negative portion of this, like, cosmic script where everyone is perfectly timed, where they're supposed to be, what they're thinking about, what they're focusing on. And yeah, the negative, and I guess if you were set up to have positive experiences, they could also be drawing from your maladaptive daydreaming, like neural pathways and neural networks. But So moving on from that, at 28 that stopped. It stopped, and then there was a lot of fear and terror and like pain and misery up until my hospitalization. And now it is like all these strings can be pulled, like they can still, whatever my imagination is, they can still put these ideas in my mind like I feel like they can other people. When I say that they can change the entire atmosphere of your mind, it's like when I was maladaptive daydreaming and they would switch the scene of the movie and I would be playing maybe a different character. It's like you're playing a different character and this character has a different baseline feeling to their being. Like some people feel safer, some people feel unsafe, some people view clouds as beautiful, and some people don't care about clouds, and it's this, but attached to like everything. And so you change character, and then your perceptions can be changed, which I honestly think is where like racism and some of the better things like attraction and compassion come from. Like I do not think this is all negative, but the fact that there is the horror of it, of certain things, like I'm sure you can think of like horrible things in your life that have been set up to happen, or I feel like, because I think everything has been set up from the beginning. So that covers the maladaptive daydreamings and the perceptions in your mind of what is going on, and from zoning out, their ability to I already went over this in 2 other videos a little bit, to like hold you back. They can give you the idea in your head of doing something like calling someone, or doing your laundry, or finally doing that one task that you have needed done for a while, and it's like they hold you back, and we call it anxiety, until the exact moment that it is supposed to be accomplished, that it's supposed to be done. Like you're supposed to like walk your dog or go get gas at the gas station. And this is when like the chance meetings happen that a lot of TIs, people who are negatively impacted, who are targeted and then made to feel like terror about it, feel. So someone who looks like your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend is held back, or they are made to wait until the exact moment that you are made to go to the gas station, and then they are made to go to the gas station, and then you see them, and you see someone who looks like your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, and then you are given maybe positive or maybe negative emotions about it, or maybe neutral. It's just something they want you to look at. They want you to see it, which I think I'll do a different a video on that, of what it means, what all of this could possibly mean for like reality and humanity, and although I also think it affects animals. Yeah. Thank you.